In our simplifying radical expressions review for today, we want to look at multiplying again, but this time we want to look at multiplying when we have groups. So how about multiplying if I have something on the outside of parentheses that I need to distribute, right? If I distribute my my square root of 2, that means I would have the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 and 2 times the square root of 2. So if I take both parts inside and multiply them by the square root of 2, what do I actually come up with? Well, the square root of 2 and the square root of 2 are both under square roots, so my job was to multiply those numbers together and then see if I can take out any perfect squares. The square root of 4 is already a perfect square. That's just 2. 2 square roots of 2. The first 2 is not under a radical, so I can't actually multiply those things together. I just leave it 2 square roots of 2. I also checked to make sure I couldn't divide 2 by any perfect squares, but since it's smaller than all of them, I knew I couldn't, which means I can't simplify it any further. And what about a similar problem that's just a little bit messier, right? If I distribute, it really means I'm taking negative 5 square roots of 2 times 4 square roots of 5, and then negative 5 square roots of 10 times 4 square roots of 5. So if you can do the multiplying without showing this step, that's okay, right? I just wanted to really show what we're doing, okay? When I multiply those together, we looked at multiplying things like that the other day. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20, and 2 times 5 makes the square root of 10. So I multiply the things that are outside the radicals and the things that are inside. And then negative 5 times 4 is negative 20 again, but 10 times 5 is 50. So then I go through and look for any perfect squares that I can break 10 into. Can I divide 10 by 9 or 4? Those are the only two that are smaller than itself, right? And I can't, so that means I can't do anything with that first term at all. It's already simplified. But what about 50? Can I divide 50 by any perfects, right? And this time I can. 50 is 25 times 2. And we know the square root of 25 is 5 square roots 2. Right? And then there's still that negative 20 that I'm multiplying by in the front. So this ends up being negative 20 square roots of 10 minus 100 square roots of 2. And I know I can't put those together because square root of 10 and square root of 2 are different. Right? And the only way I could put those together is if the radical parts are the same. So my answer stops right there and is simplified. What happens if I have a binomial times a binomial? Right? It's up to you if you want to use the distributive property or if you want to use a box. But the big idea here is that I need to multiply the square root of 5 times the square root of 4 and the square root of 5 times the square root of 3. And then I have to multiply the square root of 3 times the square root of 4 and the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. Right? If you can do it without showing that step, that's okay also. Right? That gives me the square root of 20 plus the square root of 15 plus the square root of 12 plus the square root of 9. And then I look to simplify those pieces as much as I can to see if there are any I can put together. 20 I can break into 4 times 5. So that gives me 2 square roots of 5. Plus 15 I can't break into anything at all that are perfect, so I just leave it the square root of 15. 12 I can break into 4 and 3. So that's 2 square roots of 3. And 9, well, the square root of 9 is really just 3. That's already a perfect. I don't have to break it apart. It just equals 3. And now I look at those pieces and I say, are there any like terms in there? Any that have the exact same square root part? And since there's not, that's all I can do to simplify. So that's exactly where I would leave my answer. Right? I can't add those 4 things up. They're not like terms. There's nothing else I can do. Or this next one, if I multiply 4 square roots of 2 times negative 2 square roots of 5, if I multiply 4 square roots of 2 times negative square root of 5, And then 5 square roots of 5 times negative 2 square roots of 5. And lastly, 5 square roots of 5 times negative square root of 5. If I multiply all 4 of those things together, right, those are the same 4 things I'd end up multiplying together if I made a box. Right, 4 square roots of 2, 5 square roots of 5, negative 2 square roots of 5, and negative square root of 5. Right, I'd multiply 4 things together. We wrote them out the long way up above. When I do each of those, I get negative 8 square roots of 10, negative 4 square root of 10. 5 square roots of 5 times negative 2 square roots of 5 would be negative 10 square roots of 25. And 5 square roots of 5 times negative square root of 5 would be negative 5 square root of 25. Right. And if I go to simplify, what does that look like? Well, the square root of 10, I can't divide 10 by any perfect squares, so I'm leaving those the same. 25 is already a perfect square, so I don't have to break it up. I just have to say that equals 5. So what is negative 10 times 5 and negative 5 times 5? That's negative 50 and negative 25. Right. So I have negative 8 square roots of 10 minus 4 square roots of 10 minus 50 minus 25. Then, after I simplified, now I try to add things together. And I do have like terms this time. I can put the square root parts together and the number parts together. Okay. It's nice to put the number part in the front and the square root all the way at the end whenever I can. So I'm going to say that this is negative 75. And then if I add my square root of 10 parts, I have negative 12 square roots of 10 altogether. If we wrote negative 12 square roots of 10 and then negative 75, that would be okay as an answer also. Right. And the last 2 examples we want to look at are our special cases. What happens if I multiply something with radicals squared? Right? Well, we pretty much already looked at this. Right? Squared really means there's 2 of them, so maybe it would help you to write it as 1 minus 5 square roots of 2 times 1 minus 5 square roots of 2 and do it just the same as we did the last one. Right? But otherwise, if I use my square pattern, right, that means I would have 1 squared plus 2 times 1 times negative 5 square roots of 2 plus negative 5 square roots of 2 squared. 1 squared is really just 1. 2 times 1 times negative 5, the coefficient parts here, is negative 10 square roots of 2. And then negative 5 square roots of 2 squared, well, what is negative 5 square roots of 2 times negative 5 square roots of 2? The square root and square root do cancel, but I also have to do negative 5 times negative 5, right? So that really gives me 25 square roots of 4, or 25 twos, which is 50. So this is really plus 50. And last but not least, if I combine my like terms, 1 plus 50 is 51. And then I still have minus 10 square roots of 2. Again, I could have also done it the same way we did the last couple, using that distributive property or using a box. And one last example. The nicest kind are sum and difference problems. Problems that are exactly the same except for that sign in the middle. Right? The reason those are nice is because a positive and a negative, when we're looking at the distributive property, those are going to cancel each other out. So we don't have to worry about those at all. All we have to focus on is the first parts and the last parts. Right? So 3 square roots of 5 times 3 square roots of 5, and square root of 2 times negative square root of 2. So that gives me 9 square roots of 25. Ooh, that's a perfect. So that's 9 times 5, which is really 45. Plus, here, 2 times 2 is 4, so the square root of 4, and a positive times a negative is a negative. And then that's really negative 2. So plus negative 2, 45 plus negative 2, or 45 minus 2 is 43. So anytime we have a sum and difference, when we're done, we shouldn't have a radical anymore. It should just equal a number. Finally, seeing if you could try a few of these on your own.